Hey, today for our project, we are going to be making kind of a spooky-ish Halloween-inspired tree, okay? You can see my tree is bare. It's kind of gnarled. And then there is an inky sky behind it. Definitely inky right now because my watercolor is still wet, okay? But for this, I've used oil pastel for the moon and the tree, and then I've used watercolor, liquid watercolor actually, for my sky. And I used black, purple, red, orange, and yellow for this. So let's go. For this project today, we are going to be using some liquid watercolors and some oil pastel. Now we are going to start by drawing the background. We're going to start by using the oil pastels to do our drawing. Starting with the background to the foreground. So I'm going to start by doing a nice big round circle for my full moon. Now I need to make sure that I fill it in completely because in doing a watercolor resist, the watercolor is going to be absorbed by anything that is not colored. So I need to make sure that my moon is fully colored so it doesn't take in any of the color. There we go. With that, I might put in a little bit of gray, just dabbling, just for fun, smearing it out with my finger. There we go. Now I'm ready to draw, I think, my tree. Just draw a little bit of a hill there. Again, fill it in. Now, you notice that we are drawing straight with oil pastels and not with pencil. And again, we are going to do our best. We are not going to worry about trying to make it perfect, and we're just going to make it work. So, when I start off drawing a tree, I'm not going to draw the whole trunk. I'm going to just start with the framework. I'm just going to make kind of, you can see that shape. It's kind of a letter Y, okay? And now from there, I'm going to kind of go bigger and bigger. I'm going to make another line this way, another Y, okay, maybe another line this way, a letter Y, okay? Now I'm going to kind of connect my lines down here to form the trunk, and I'm going to kind of fill in. And then I'm going to keep on drawing letter Y's actually to kind of make my tree. I'm going to turn it into fast forward. Now that's pretty good. That's about where I like it. You noticed probably when I was going through, I did go through and trace over any lines just to make them a little bit bolder. And again, remember, I'm not looking to make anything perfect. So you notice my lines aren't completely symmetrical, okay? But my trunk, of course, is wider at the bottom than it is at the top, and same thing with my branches. My branches where they meet the tree are going to be thicker, and then they thin out as they reach out, okay? And I don't want this to be perfect. I really do want it to look like kind of an old, gnarled tree, a little bit, kind of a spooky silhouette a little bit, okay? And I'm going to fill in now all of my cracks, or I'm going to do my best to, and get ready to paint. So again, I'm just going to finish that up by tracing over all of my lines. Okay, I am ready to paint. Now I have my paintbrush, my wide flat paintbrush. I have my liquid watercolors here, and I actually need a little bit of my black here for my cake watercolors, and I have my water. Notice my water is still very clean. I'm going to give you a trick for keeping your water clean. I have a little bit of black on my paintbrush already, and I'm going to start by putting a layer of black here. My colors are going to go black to purple to red to orange and a little bit of yellow there at the bottom. Now, a little bit does go a long way, and I can always add more later. Okay, we are using watercolor paper today. You can see the water and the paint kind of sits right up there on top. You see how it's not really being absorbed? That's going to help it to blend. Now, I'm ready to add some purple. Before, if I were to dip my paintbrush straight into the purple right now, I would get whatever black is left on here in my purple. So to clean, I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel or your construction paper mat, whichever one, and then into my water. Look how clean my water stays. Okay, now I'm going to kind of push off some of the extra liquid there. I'm going to pick up some purple with my brush, and I'm going to blend straight in. Now you can see my purple is very, very dark because liquid watercolor is very, very vivid. Now, whoops, you can see there my moon is resisting some, but it's still going to take on kind of a purpley hue. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. But this is a dark, dark purple there because my watercolor is so intense. So I'm going to lay down a lot. I might try to avoid my moon a little bit. Now you can kind of see I'm painting in between the oil pastel right now, because even though the oil pastel will resist the paint, I don't actually want to pick up all that oil pastel out of my brush because that would make it yuck. So I'm going to switch colors and add some red. So again, I'm going to wipe it off on my paper towel, and I probably, even though you saw how quickly I dipped my paintbrush into that paint, I probably still had too much paint. Okay, wipe it all off. Ooh, yes, too much paint, my friends. That's what happens. Okay, wipe it off, try to get it clean. Okay, rinse off. My water didn't get very clean there again because I had so much paint on my brush. I'm going to be careful next time. Now this time when I pick up my red, I'm just going to dip straight in and out. Okay, I don't want quite so much. And I'm going to overlap my colors and try to blend them together. You can see again, I'm going right on top of my purple. And this is again just a start. Okay, some of you are thinking that does not look at all like the final product, and it won't for a little while. We have to go back and forth. So I'm going to go in, keep on blending my colors. You know the next color that I'm going to have is that orange, and then I'm going to do the same with the yellow. Again, cleaning my paintbrush off in between every time, because right now, if I were to dip that paintbrush in, it would contaminate my lighter colors. So again, okay, wiping it off first in the paper towel, then in the water. Okay, so I've gone over the whole thing. You can see I kind of like how my colors are blending in together. I don't really want to see stripes, or I definitely don't want to see stripes on my paper where one color ends and the next color begins. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I was doing my painting, I actually kind of took my dirty paintbrush and I went through some of the brighter colors just there at the bottom because I didn't want them to stand out necessarily. And then I went through, I like to just take a wet brush and kind of blend even a little bit more, okay? And again, I like how when that dry, I like how watercolor looks kind of splotchy there, or at least yeah, that's a technique that I like to go for. One other thing you might want to do is take a little bit of your black watercolor and then just go over any of your oil pastel lines to totally fill in if you haven't yet. Okay, this is a good stage to do that at the very, very, very end. Okay, one thing. Now, I'm not loving the way my moon resisted the watercolor. I can still see the color on top. So what I might do is just kind of go over it. And again, you know what? It's not perfect. So my moon's a little purple. I think I'm just gonna have to be okay with that. Okay. And the magic too is what it looks like when it dries. So enjoy making your spooky tree.